This story contains some strong language. Day 25. Hugger. I want you to be the tree, the director was saying. Molly didn't quite understand what that meant, or why it would help, actually. A guy in worn jeans and heavy boots sitting on the other side of the circle was rolling his eyes behind his sun-bleached bangs. The speaker went on. If you are the tree, you'll fully understand why we can't let them through. He gestured to the heavy forestry machinery parked menacingly alongside the glade the group were in. The operators were absent, but had promised to come back any day. The director of this environmental protection group looked out of place in nature, actually. His white shirt and ribbed body warmer were immaculate. His glasses looked fragile and expensive. Molly struggled to imagine him chaining himself to a tree, but as she looked around at the young people listening, all quite underdressed by comparison, she understood that that's what they were there for. The guy with the boots and the hair spoke up. John, we know what we're doing. We're tying ourselves up and telling them to fuck off. It's not complicated. I don't expect you to pay attention to much, Carl, said John, but we have a new activist here today. Molly smiled without her eyes and showed a palm in greeting when all faces turned to her. Carl in the jeans looked at her a little longer than everyone else. Ah, that's why you're putting that English Lit degree to more use today, he said. John blushed and tried to look anywhere but at Molly, failing every other second. It was business management, actually. Got a first? Anyway, I want to make sure that everyone knows the ropes. And yes, Carl, he added quickly, I know their chains is just a figure of speech. Carl was smiling. He clearly enjoyed getting under this guy's skin, even without having to do anything. He pointed the smile at Molly. Okay, said John. Everyone's got their role. Let's get to work. Not you, though, Molly. We do something for you to find someone, something. Carl was already ambling towards her. John pinned his arms by his sides and burst into a jig-like run to close the gap. They both reached her at the same time. Hi, they both said at the same time. She gave the same weak smile. Carl, could you get to your job, please? John said calmly. Carl scrunched up his face as if he'd tasted something bitter. Yes, John. I just wanted to ask Molly, was it? If she'd like to help me lay out the chains at each tree. He turned to her. They're really heavy. Well, I was going to ask Molly if she would like to take a look around the site and see each position, get a better gauge of what she would like to do. He nodded sagely at her. That sounds good, she said, more as a question. She looked apologetically at Carl, who managed a little smile, shot a look at John, and then sloped off. John's expression was very serene all of a sudden. Shall we start with Helena and Victor? They'll be moving around with water and goodies when people are locked in. She didn't like the way he said goodies. A little while later, she had seen everyone at work apart from Carl, who, despite moving around, always seemed to be at the opposite end of where John was leading her. Eventually, he had run out of places to go and brought her to where Carl was snaking a large metal chain around the base of an oak. Hey, he said. His voice was deeper than before. Yeah, so Carl's job is to drop the chains where they're needed before people lock themselves in. Very heavy work, very dirty, not really for you, I don't think. I don't know, said Carl, leaning against the tree. I bet she's stronger than she looks. He flicked his hair out of his eyes, and she could see the sweat on his taut upper arms. She could also smell him. Or was that John? So, John started, who's it going to be? The two men waited. Oh, shit, said Carl. He was looking at something between Molly and John. They turned to see the other volunteers backing away from a small group of older men in high-vis jackets and orange hard hats. They swaggered and grinned, eyeing up the group and the trees. The leader, a stocky man with grey stubble running from his face up around his bald pate, stopped in front of John. He waved his hard hat around at the canopy. "We've got to cut this lot down, mate. Better clear off." "And who am I speaking with?" John asked in a rehearsed tone. The man sighed and pulled a piece of paper from a chest pocket. John scanned it. "Who cares who they are?" said Carl. "I'm dealing with it," John snapped, before flicking a look at Molly. "Look, mate, we don't want anyone to get hurt. I have a full legal right to cut these trees down, so move along and let me do my job." John was casting around to all the volunteers, but they were just waiting to see what he would do. Molly felt sorry for him. "Oh, for Christ's sake, I'm sick of you bloody huggers. You might not have had a real job in your whole life, but I've got a deadline, so just piss off." His arms suddenly disappeared behind his back, and a worried look crossed his features. Carl's face appeared very close from over his shoulder. Molly hadn't noticed him move around behind the logger. He spoke very quietly. "Do not call us huggers. John?" John marched forward, said, "Exactly, and I've got a business degree, you fat twat," and headbutted him. In the back of the police van, to the sound of chainsaws whirring, Molly sat wedged between John and Carl. Carl was squinting through a black eye, and John was dabbing his bleeding nose with a tissue held between cuffed hands. But they were both laughing. "John, you're an animal," said Carl. "Well," said John, "I wouldn't want to be the one you tackled into that tree." "I thought you were both so brave," said Molly earnestly. They didn't seem to hear her.